My name is Denis Wisner. I am a PowerUp hero of learning, and my superpower is my never-ending desire to learn.
When I wake in the morning.
Good morning. Let's face it, waking up early, living your best life, and juggling a busy workload can be close to impossible. But your morning routine is important. It sets the tone, pace, and energy for the rest of the day. If you hit the snooze button several times, rush your way through getting ready, and end up in rush hour traffic, you'll feel like you're in a constant race for the rest of the day. Hi, I'm Lisa, host of Wake Up to Power Up. Every Monday at 4 a.m., throw those covers off and be refreshed and ready to make the day amazing.
How do you wake up in the morning? Essentially, if you had a masterpiece day, the perfect day, how would you wake up?
Great question. And I think everyone should ask themselves this question regularly. And right now, I'm actually doing really well with my new routine. Really, it changes based upon what your life is currently. And so what I'm going to share with you may not fit with you at the times, but for me right now, it's working, and it's something that I've refined over the years. And so for me, when I wake up, it's 5 a.m. Sometimes I wake up on my own, but I have an alarm clock with a vibration just to make sure that I don't wake other folks up, but to make sure I wake up. And I start off with my mind. You know, when we wake up early, our mind is still malleable. It's still open to ideas because of the different brain waves that we have when we wake up. And what I do is I first want to strengthen my focus. And so I have actually 3 phases of meditation that I go through. And so I start with 5 minutes of breathing. And so essentially I have a breathing exercise in which I'm focusing on my breath and counting my breaths, which allows me to focus. Then I move into a meditation, which is all about visualization. And this essentially aligns my current state with my future state and everything in between that will get me there. And so I walk through a visualization in my mind that aligns my intentions for the day with what I want to become and where I'm going. Lastly, I listen to affirmations that I've recorded, that I've kind of curated over time, that get my mindset right for the day. Things that I want going in my head all day. It's almost like when you have a song in your head, you just end up singing. I want my affirmations to be something that's the song in my head. And so doing that in the morning helps me accomplish that. So that is about 30 minutes. I know it sounded like a lot, but if you just chunk that out, that's about 30 minutes. I'm engaged in meditation. And then for about the next 30 minutes, I engage in some type of physical movement. Physical movement is not only important for your body, but also your mind. And so if you feel down, if you feel depressed, if you've been inside the house because of COVID, if you haven't had a lot of movement lately, more than likely, you're also feeling down. You may even feel depressed. And so I challenge you just to have some type of movement where you really get the blood flowing, the heart beating faster, and you will feel different. But what I do, essentially, I like to keep things fresh. I like to keep things different, even in the week. And so I have days when I am, having a jog, working out with weights. I have a day when I'm doing yoga or doing qigong, doing martial arts. And so I keep variety in the movement that I do because I want to keep it fresh. I want to keep it interesting. And I also know that if I do these different things, I'm actually challenging my body in different ways. And so physically, I'm optimizing myself because I am giving my body different ways in which it has to adapt. If you challenge your mind, it will adapt. The same is true for your body. If you challenge your body, it will adapt. And so that's something that kind of like a little side benefit for that. The last thing I have as a morning routine is I spend the next 30 minutes after that. So at this point, it's 6 o'clock. And I focus on something that I'm wanting to learn at that point in time. And for me right now, that's Spanish. I think, knowing more than one language is not only beneficial, right? For you as a person to communicate with other people, especially I live in South Texas. And so, it just makes sense. It's logic to go ahead it makes sense. It's logical to go ahead and learn Spanish because I'm in a region of Spanish speaking people. It also has benefits for the brain, right, of learning a different language. And it's something that I think that when you live in an area where you have essentially a lot of people that speak two languages, it also shows a certain level of respect when you're able to speak to someone in their language. And that's something that I want to achieve as well, is be able to speak to people in their language. It just automatically, provides a certain level of respect to those individuals. And you don't even have to be a great speaker in the language. The fact that you're trying to communicate with people in their native tongue allows for that relationship to begin. And that's essentially my morning practice in a nutshell: meditation, physical movement, and then some type of learning. And mine happens to be learning a language right now.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing your wake up to power up morning routine, Wisner. And I just have to point out that I am just blessed to have you. And I absolutely love that your power up routine happens in my own house. So I get to see you and model what you do. So everybody thinks that I'm amazing, but you need to know that I live with the most amazing person who models the way for me to follow. Thank you, Wisner.
You're welcome.
I'm Lisa Wisner. Join me every Monday at 4 a.m. for Wake Up to Power Up on the Beach 96.5.